This is the Genesis G90, not to be mistaken with the Hyundai Genesis. The Genesis is an all-new brand from the Korean giant Hyundai, kind of like how Lexus is to Toyota, Acura, Honda, Infiniti, Nissan. See what's happening here? Genesis is hoping to steal some thunder and sales away from some of the heavyweights in its class, like the Mercedes S-Class, the BMW 7 Series, and even the new CT6 from Cadillac. So what do big, comfy luxury sleds do best, in my opinion? Long road trips. Let's go. When you're introducing the first vehicle in your lineup for your brand new luxury brand, you need to go big, and that's exactly what Genesis has done with this G90. When I mean big, I really mean huge. I couldn't believe it when I parked it beside my 3-row SUV at home and realized that it's actually longer. Compared to its competitors, the 7 Series and the Mercedes S-Class, it's longer and wider. The exterior styling is business elegant. The prominent crest grille really stands out when seen on the road, especially from your rearview mirror. The lighting is tastefully styled and everything looks very proportional and nothing is out of place. I showed quite a few people the G90 without telling them what it was, and the general reaction was, wow, what is it? Looks really high-end and expensive, so I guess they accomplished what they set out to do. Personally, I love the look of these turbine-style wheels. Apparently they're made from hollow alloy to aid in reducing noise. Overall, a well-balanced design which you would expect nothing less coming from former Audi designer Peter Schreier. So when you first step into a luxury car, what do you expect? You expect a lot of comfort. You expect the touch feel of everything should be top-notch, and Genesis did an amazing job on this G90. When you first sit in, first of all, you have these heated and cooled seats, very supportive. They are adjustable in almost all ways. You have Napa leather covered steering wheel, and everything that you touch, where your elbows touch on the door panels, on the middle console, everything you touch is just, it's so soft and basically it's smooth and luxurious. In the middle of the gauge cluster, you have a 7-inch TFT display. It's configurable. It will show you your drive modes, your trip odometer, even your navigation. To the right of the instrument cluster is a huge 12.3-inch screen, and when I say huge, it's very wide, and the beauty of it is this does come standard with backup, not only a backup camera, but all around view, including front view as well, and parking assistance. Great if you're just getting up to a curb or a wall and it turns on, you can see how far you are, but also for parking, the round view. Now, if you're doing that with this big screen, the beauty is you get 2 different views at the same time, plus whatever you program on the right side. So you could have your entertainment information, your Navi information, and it's all there, lots of real estate to use. Below that, your radio and heating controls in a black piano finish. So on the G90, there are the availability of 2 power plants. The first is the carried over 5-liter V8 engine from the Hyundai Genesis, putting out 420 horsepower and 383 foot-pounds of torque. But then you get what I think is the star of the show is an all-new 3.3-liter V6 twin turbo, and that puts out 365 horsepower, about 376 pound-feet of torque, which is not much less than the V8 engine, and you get better fuel economy. We are in the 3.3-liter twin turbo, and I gotta tell you right now, we are on our long road trip. We're doing over 1,000 kilometers, and we're going up a highway in the Okanagan in British Columbia. We're going up a very steep grade for about 20 kilometers. It has no problem whatsoever, and if I didn't tell you this was a 6-cylinder engine, a lot of you would probably mistake this for a V8. It has a lot of grunt off the line, and it just keeps on pulling. Both engines are mated to a 2nd generation 8-speed automatic transmission. Other markets, it's available in a 2 or all-wheel drive configuration. In Canada, we only get just the all-wheel drive configuration, which most Canadians would love for inclement weather and for performance as well. There are different drive modes in the Genesis G90, and when we press them, we have a smart mode, which essentially is an adaptive system. So it analyzes how you drive, and it changes the parameters of the engine, the transmission, and the suspension as well. And a lot of times I do have it in the drive mode, but for a little bit more spirited drive, you can select sport mode, and that tightens the steering up. It makes the engine more responsive, and of course stiffens that suspension. That suspension is adaptive, and it is always controlling the rebound and the dampening of those shocks. Now, how does it feel and how does it handle these roads? Well, I honestly think this, in sport mode, it's really not that sporty. It's not as stiff as I would like, especially if you're doing a little more high-speed driving. It would be nice to be a little stiffer in some of those corners, just to give you a little bit more confidence. All in all though, a very luxurious feel. As I mentioned when we talked about the interior, everything is so soft and supple. Everything you touch, it feels really, really high-end. And the best thing about this is it's so quiet. With the use of acoustic glass, how stiff the chassis is. And to me, quietness is really what defines luxury. It's just, there's no noise pollution whatsoever. You can turn on that 17 speaker 900 watt Lexicon system, and you can just enjoy yourself for hours and hours like we are on this long road trip. Genesis didn't just stop there to enhance this luxury experience. They're really aiming to create a stress-free experience for the customer.
So we're really confident in the product itself, and we're going to go to market in a very different way. In fact, the vehicle comes standard with a full suite of features. There's no extra charges for some of the safety features that others will charge. None of the authentic materials are extra. And in fact, we're going to include 5 years of no-charge maintenance, plus a service called At Home, where Genesis will come and pick up your car and take it in for service, and actually leave you a loaner car in the meantime while we're repairing your car, and then return the car back to you once your car is repaired. As for real world fuel economy, kind of tough to tell on this trip because you go up and down the mountain ranges, but on average, we were doing about 10.5 liters per 100K. Not bad for a huge luxury sled, and we're not being really nice to this gas pedal either. It's so quiet, even when I put my foot to the floor. Man, we're so high, my ears are popping. The G90 is equipped with a ton of standard safety features. You have your usual ones like your frontal collision assist, your rear cross traffic alert, but then you also have some more advanced safety features. For instance, you have the blind spot warning, but not only does it just alert you by the light in the mirror, it will also vibrate the steering wheel. This does have haptic feedback on the steering wheel, and it will take action if you are moving into a lane that has something that's going to block you. It will apply a brake and pull you back toward it. Now, talk about pull you back toward, this also has lane departure warning, and once again, this is an active one where it has lane keeping assist as well. So if you're drifting off, it will not just alert you by the steering wheel and display in your heads-up display or on your TFT, it will seriously just keep you in the lane. For example, I'm going on the highway right now and my hands are off the wheel. They are ready to take over at any time, by the way. And as you can see, it is steering for me. It will do it for about 15 seconds and then it'll tell you to put your hands back on the steering wheel. Very similar to what Mercedes-Benz has and some other manufacturers have as well. So here we go, that's giving me the warning to keep my hands on the steering wheel. It can also monitor how alert you are by analyzing your driving patterns, and if something irregular happens, it might know that you're kind of dozing off or you're not paying attention, and it'll alert you to that. And a lot of these aids you can actually either turn off and you can actually adjust their level of intrusiveness. And even though this is just the beginning of the Genesis brand with the G90 and then the G80 to follow shortly, Genesis has plans in the future for many new models. Into the near future, we're going to launch 4 new models, all by 2021. And that will include a G70 compact luxury car, as well as 2 SUVs and also a sports coupe. So stay tuned for a full suite of Genesis products to be launched by the year 2021. So if you have a big, long luxury sled like this going on a 1,000-kilometer road trip to the Okanagan of British Columbia, the best place to be really is in the back. Lots of legroom. Of course, this is a full-size sedan. Very comfortable. In the center, you have this armrest that comes down, and you have redundant controls for the radio and the climate control. This does have a separate climate control for the rear. You also have rear sunshades that are power for both sides and the back as well. This G90 can be equipped with some other entertainment options like rear screens on the back of the seats. If you want to stretch out, you can control the front seat if there's no one in the front, and I can go push it right up and get myself some extra legroom. It would be nice though if you did have an ottoman option, kind of like you have on the 7 Series, and you know, for a long ride, maybe a massage feature. So is the G90 going to steal some sales away from the heavyweights like the 7 Series and the S-Class? Well, on paper, it definitely has what it takes. It has the performance, it's got great power plants, it has a lot of technology. The style, I think it's a great style. It looks very high-end, and it definitely really looks the part. Interior supple, luxurious, extremely quiet. It's basically class-leading quietness. And then you add on the features like the 5 years, no-cost maintenance, and also the concierge-style treatments you get, like that at-home pickup. So you put those all together, yeah, it does have what it takes, but it's not going to happen overnight because those heavyweights have had that position for a long time. But for a first crack at it, I think Genesis has done an excellent job. And you know what? This is just the beginning, the Genesis.